Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger from SacredSoulEmpowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, June 25th through Sunday, July 1st, 2018. For this week's weekly reading, we will be using the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and your special message card, depending on your stone of choice this week, will be coming from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. So those of you that watch my weekly readings, you normally see the cards set up and statues or crystals in the background. And I did do this recording yesterday with that format. And for whatever reason, the video was lost. And all I can think is that I needed to redo it because there was something perhaps that wasn't said yesterday that needs to be said today. So all of the cards, though, I'm going to use, the cards that were chosen, both from the Angel Tarot deck and from the Goddess Guidance Oracle, depending on your stone of choice, are going to be used in this re-recording. So bear with me. Also, by the way, I have a couple of announcements. One is that this week's weekly reading brings us to the 1st of July, so also be on the lookout for the monthly angel card reading for the month of July. That should be up by the time this video is published or shortly thereafter. And the other big announcement is, although I'm on Facebook and a lot of you are following me on my YouTube channel, I am now on Instagram as well. So find me on Instagram, and I can't wait to see you all there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by looking at the stones of choice. Your first stone of choice is this beautiful ruby. And I don't know if you can see with the lighting that's here, but the ruby is a deep, dark, reddish color. And that reddish color with the ruby, you know, it kind of reminds me of this passionate energy. And in fact, that's one of the things that the ruby is going to be all about, is passion. But ruby helps to shield you from negative energy vibrations. It helps to provide you with a sense of strength and courage and confidence, as well as joy, leadership ability, and it's a stone of love and commitment. Your second stone of choice is malachite, and malachite is a beautiful green stone. Malachite helps to stimulate and balance and heal the heart chakra, and it is a stone of transformation. It's also a stone that's often used for abundance and prosperity. Merchants in times of past would often put a malachite in their cash box along with citrine. Okay, and then your last stone of choice is blue kyanite. And this is a nice little mini blue kyanite wand. And kyanite comes in all different types of colors, green, black, as well as the blue, but this one's blue. So it's definitely going to relate to the throat chakra and clear communication. It helps to align all of your chakras and remove blockages. It also helps with telepathic and psychic abilities. So again, your stones of choice are the ruby, the malachite, and the blue kyanite. It's nice, by the way, to see you all. I know I can't really see you, but I feel like I'm looking at all of you as I'm in front of the camera. And this is normally the format for the monthly video. But anyway, so back to the weekly reading. We're going to start by looking at the astrological energies for the week. And there's a fair amount here going on this week. The first thing is that on Monday the 25th, we have Venus in the sign of Leo, and it is in a challenging square aspect to Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio. Now, Venus rules love and relationships. It also rules money and finances. And while she's in Leo, she's very creative, okay? Venus is kind of already this kind of creative, flowing, nurturing, divine feminine energy. We put her in the sign of Leo, and she really shines her light, and she really, again, likes to create or put her efforts towards creation. She also likes to be seen or recognized or appreciated for who she is and what it is that she's offering out into the world. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's the planet of blessings. It rules our belief systems. It's been in Scorpio since last fall, and this has been expanding our perceptions and the need to look at our belief systems regarding scorpionic themes like secrets or power and control, death and rebirth and transformation, those that abuse their power, which we kind of mentioned with the power and control. So when we take Venus squaring Jupiter on Monday, I feel like what I'm getting is there's something going on financially. And again, this is a challenging aspect. And the reason why I say, in part, of course it's going to be other things, but Venus does rule the second house, and it rules the sign of Taurus naturally. And Taurus is a money sign. So Venus, in other words, as I said, Venus rules money and finances in part. The sign of Scorpio, where Jupiter is, also rules money and finances. So I feel like there's probably some strain or difficulties or challenges regarding our belief systems about money, our perceptions about money, and maybe even there's some authority matters or power and control issues with others regarding our ability to make money or expand our finances in some way. Now this can also be about relationships, and so this is going to be again Venus ruling relationship matters and matters of the heart, love, and Jupiter again in Scorpio is our belief systems about our sense of power. So there may be some power and control issues in relationships, whether they be romantic or business or family, friendship. So just watch again for our belief systems and our sense of owning our power, being a leader. Leo, where Venus is, likes to be that leader energy. Now, Tuesday the 26th, we have Mars going retrograde at 9 degrees of Aquarius. Mars is the planet of energy, action, forward movement, and momentum. Mars is considered the warrior planet, which is why he likes to move forward. Now, as it's slowing down, and as of last week, we started to feel the effects of Mars slowing down. Physically, we could be feeling more tired, more drained. As far as our forward movement on projects or with career matters, our life path in general, again, we may be feeling like things are slowing down or things aren't moving or unfolding in a timely manner. Now, remember that whenever a planet goes retrograde or whenever there's a difficult aspect between planets, it's not about punishment, it's not about negativity, it's about teaching us something or being patient because things are developing behind the scenes, which is the case in this matter of Mars slowing down. So things may appear to be slowing down, but this is giving us time to revamp something, to, sort of like Mercury retrograde, to redo something, revamp something, go over the details, that there's something not in alignment yet, so it's in our highest and best interest to wait a little bit of time before we go full steam ahead, basically. It doesn't mean you can't still move forward, or continue to do what you need to do in life or with projects or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But just know that as Mars shifts to retrograde motion, and it's at 9 degrees of Aquarius, by the way, so those of you that are early degree Aquarius, 8 to probably 10 degrees, and we can actually expand that a little bit more, but those of you that have a sun around those degrees, you're going to feel that most. So, Aquarius is that sign of the humanitarian. It's the sign of higher thought, higher mind stuff. It's very scientific. I also feel like I'm hearing that our angels and guides are saying that we could experience some weird things with technology, computers, cell phones, anything technological or electronic, because Aquarius does rule electrical things. So with Mars slowing down there might be some funny things that are happening and going on. Okay, so Mars is going to be retrograde for a while. I didn't jot it down, but we'll probably I mentioned it in the June monthly reading because we're still in the month of June here. So go back and watch the June monthly, and I'm sure that I told you the time period that Mars will be retrograde before turning direct. On Wednesday the 27th, we have the Sun, which is in Cancer, and it's opposing Saturn in Capricorn. And this happens right before the full moon, which we have Wednesday, Thursday, the 27th, 28th, depending on what part of the world you live in. The full moon in Capricorn is at 6 degrees Capricorn. So this means that the sun, again, is at 6 degrees Cancer. The moon is at 6 degrees Capricorn. Saturn is also at 6 degrees Capricorn. So Wednesday and Thursday we have this full moon lunation, which we know full moons are about something coming to a head. The energy is intensifying, okay? So, the energy is growing with the moon. With Saturn there, Saturn has a feeling of restriction and limitation. Saturn is about karmic lessons. Saturn is the great teacher. Saturn is about patience. So not only are we needing to be patient with Mars turning to retrograde motion and kind of slowing things down from moving forward, but now we have a full moon here in the sign of Capricorn, which does rule our career path, our life path, our destiny path, our goals, our ambitions. That full moon is also involving Saturn, which has that restrictive, limiting influence. So there's lessons, here to be learned, and there's patience that needs to be had as we're moving forward here. On Thursday and Friday, the 28th and 29th, again, depending on what part of the world you live in, Mercury, the planet of the mind, the planet that rules our thoughts, our ideas, our communications, is moving out of Cancer and into the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury is the mind planet. While it was in Cancer, Cancer is about the emotions and the feelings. So maybe not as comfortable there as it will be as it moves into Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Leo is a sign of leadership and creativity, creative self-expression, shining your light, showing your courage, being confident. So Mercury going into that sign, I feel like we're going to have a lot of creative ideas. We're going to be able to brainstorm new possibilities on a mental level. We're going to be able to shine our light through speaking, teaching, writing, all forms of communication with Mercury there. We're going to feel more confident in how we're speaking or just in our, again, everyday mentality. On Saturday the 30th, Mercury, newly into Leo, is challenging or in a square aspect to Uranus, the rebel planet, the planet that rules the unexpected or strange energies. Also, the moon is in Aquarius, the opposite sign from Leo, where Mercury is. The moon in Aquarius is also challenging Uranus. So that's called a T-square. In other words, the moon in Aquarius is opposing Mercury and Leo, and they're both in a square aspect or a challenging aspect to Uranus. Because Uranus rules quick, sudden, unexpected, strange, unusual, rebellious kinds of energies, I feel like we're going to have some, again, communication situations and circumstances, either on a global collective level or personally in your own life, where people are not going to have a filter. That's kind of what Uranus does. Uranus creates this thing to where there's no filter when it connects with Mercury. So people are just going to be spontaneous with what they're saying and speaking. And that can be something that's really shocking to us in some way. So be on the lookout for those shocking, unusual, strange kinds of occurrences with communication matters, but also with our thoughts too. And again with our emotions, because the moon rules emotions as well. So watch out for all of that. So that was quite a bit for this week. Now, let's take a look at what our angels and guides have to say from the Angel Tarot deck. So I usually choose 3 cards. The first card I chose, 2 cards came out. So we actually have a total of 4 cards here to look at. But the first card was the 4 of Air, which in the traditional tarot is the 4 of Swords. Swords is the suit of the mind, okay, so it's the mental realm. The number 4, numerologically speaking, is more structured, but it also can be limiting and restricting in some ways. So this can either be restriction and limitations regarding our thoughts, our communications with other people, or it can again bring some structure, some focus to what we're doing. So if you're working on a project, this can bring some focus. Or again, bring some structure in. The message at the bottom says, time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision, and meditation may provide answers. So, this really, in a way, one of the things it talks about is taking more time to rest. And as I said, Mars moving retrograde physically, we might feel a little bit more tired and drained. So make sure that you're honoring that. But again, this is not necessarily a physical card, although I feel like that message is pertinent, but also it's a mental card. So you're also going to be feeling mentally tired. You might feel overburdened. You might feel like there's too much on your plate or too much going on. So it's causing, again, some stress here. This is also saying to not make any quick decisions. And again, with Mars turning retrograde and that full moon connecting with Saturn, the planet that rules patience, this also indicates to just take a little bit of time. Don't make any quick on-the-fly decisions, or don't have any knee-jerk reactions, with something if you can help it. So take your time, have patience, get some rest. Okay, let's take a look at the next card. This card actually came out with the first card. So this is Major Arcana number 14. Now in this deck it's called Balance with Archangel Zadkiel. And in the traditional tarot, Major Arcana number 14 is the Temperance card. And the Temperance card is also about patience and balance, as it's called in this card. So we're needing to stay physically, emotionally, especially mentally, and spiritually balanced as we move throughout this week. The message at the bottom, the need for balance or moderation. It talks about cooperation and compromise and wait for perfect timing. So here again, we have this timing thing going on. Now some of you, I know a lot of you are the seeds that we planted. Let me back up here. The seeds we planted at the spring equinox when the sun went into Aries. We're wanting to see those come to fruition. We want to see our goals come into manifestation. And the goals can be, anything from career or money and finance or relationships, or anything in life. But this is again saying with Mars turning to retrograde motion here for the next few weeks, we're needing to slow down, take it easy, not push, be patient, stay balanced, and wait for perfect timing. Now, the perfect timing is going to come more into play when Mars goes back to direct motion. So, again, this is going to be a few weeks. I suspect that we're looking at probably, end of August or early September before we're going to see, which again, we're getting into September, that's the fall time period, the time of the harvest. That's normally when we see things start to manifest and come to fruition from the seeds we planted at the spring equinox, right? The fall equinox is when that harvest comes in. So just keep on moving forward, stay positive and keep on moving forward. And also there was something too, if I recall from yesterday, they're reminding me, about needing to, again, when you're communicating with other people, I think this is part of the Mercury shifting into Leo, and then it connecting with Uranus. Make sure that you're listening to other people. Make sure that you're not just speaking, and again, our thoughts are going to be very reactive. Our communication is going to be very spontaneous. Try to stop and think before you speak. Try to stop and listen to what other people are saying as well. That's part of the cooperation and compromise message from this card. Okay, the next card, the third card, was also Major Arcana number 5. In this deck it's called Unity with Archangel Sandalphon. In the traditional tarot, Major Arcana number 5 is the Hierophant card. And the message at the bottom of this is traditional viewpoints or methods. Okay, I'll say that again. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, and seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Now, the Hierophant card is usually a figure of authority. In the ancient tarot, the old tarot, the Hierophant is usually seen as a spiritual authority, someone that people would go to for guidance or answers. Now, in this deck, again, it's called Unity, and I kind of like that because it's not necessarily suggesting suggesting that we need to look outside of ourselves for answers, or that we need to go to someone who is an authority figure, whether they be a religious, spiritual authority figure, or just someone in a position of authority, like a counselor, a judge, etc. But this is suggesting that, to me, this is suggesting unity consciousness. It's suggesting that we are all a part of the God source energy, and in that we have to find a state of unity with our brothers and sisters, with the collective. We're all in this together, so to speak. So part of this card, with what it says at the bottom about seeking out mentors and like-minded friends, one of the messages that came through was about forming groups of like-minded people. For instance, I'm going to be very soon joining or being involved in a very small, but I'm going to say powerful and empowering, women's empowerment group. So that's kind of one example to where we can join a group with those of like mind, a humanitarian group, a spiritual group. It doesn't even have to be one of those, but just a group to where we can support one another, listen to one another, help one another if possible, network with one another. Some people are maybe, seeking answers for something, and somebody else in the group will maybe be able to guide them in the right direction or have some answers for them. So that was one of the messages of unity that comes through with this major arcana number 5. Now, Archangel Sandalphon is the archangel to where you send your prayers with Archangel Sandalphon. He carries them up to the divine, up to God, up to the heavens, to be, listened to and made manifest. So again, this is an angel, an archangel that perhaps you want to call on. Perhaps you have the need for some answers, and rather than joining a group or connecting with a friend or an authority figure, you can also call on Archangel Sandalphon, or any of the archangels for that matter, and ask them to assist you and guide you with where it is that you're going or what it is you need to do. All right, and then the last card was the 5 of Fire. Now this one to me was like Mercury going into Leo and challenging Uranus with the moon involved, because the number 5 is sometimes about unstableness, anxiety, situations that are confusing, or there's a lot going on, or too many things happening, or you're wearing many hats and trying to do too many things and you're just feeling overwhelmed again. And the fire suit is the spiritual suit. It's the suit of wands in the traditional tarot. So this is like the 5 of wands. And again, the 5 of wands can feel like we're not grounded, we're totally confused. Again, there's things happening, from all different directions at the same time, and we're feeling overwhelmed. The message at the bottom here says competing goals, bothersome details, and conflict with others. Again, it's that communication thing with Mercury and Uranus that's happening. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's conflict, but there may be some unexpected things going on. The number 5 is often about things that are unexpected, or again, nervous energy, chaotic energy. So you just want to be aware towards the end of the week, I feel mostly, or even midweek with the full moon happening, that things are coming to a head and there's a lot happening and going on there with the energies. So let's take a look at your special message card depending on your stone of choice. And again, I'm going to go with the cards. And I did ask our angels and guides, I said, well, did I lose that other video because I need to redraw the cards for the special message? And they said no, to use the same cards. So for those of you that chose the ruby, okay, the ruby people, this is again from the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck, is you got Freya. And the message of Freya is to be bold. And it says, unleash your adventurous side, take risks, and be daring. Now, if you look at Freya here, I mean, she's very confident, she's very self-assured, she's very grounded, she's getting ready to move forward with something, be bold. Again, take a risk, take a leap of faith, show your sense of power this week. I also feel like there's something with the solar plexus, and that again is your center of personal power. So meditate and visualize that golden yellow light of the solar plexus. And I usually like to see it as a spinning ball of golden yellow light. And make sure when you're visualizing it that it's spinning and turning in a very balanced manner and at the right speed too. You know, again, if it's spinning too fast, or if you all of a sudden see it psychically spinning fast, then you're out of balance. Or if it's sluggish and spinning too slow, you know, you're out of balance with your sense of power. So that's one of the exercises that you can do. I also feel like there's something about being passionate about what you're doing. So if you're in a career or you're doing something that you're not passionate about, you need to kind of double check, is this really what I want to do? Is this empowering me? Is this situation empowering me? Okay, and if it's not, then you might need to make a new decision about it. All right, for those of you that chose the Malachite people, you got Damara, guiding children. The message at the bottom says, you are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So, you know, one of the messages about this is about helping your own children or other people's children. There might be a lot of you out there that actually work with children in some way. Now, to me, this is also about helping the children of humanity. Okay, so if you're a light worker, and you know you're here trying to unfold your mission, so to speak, you may be working with the children of humanity, as I like to call it. And the children of humanity aren't just children. They're, you know, teenagers, they're adults, you know, we're all children of humanity. But you might be here in some way to help to heal or to guide or again to counsel or to inform or educate children or the children of humanity. I also feel like this is about healing your own inner child regarding something for some of you. So pay attention to your own inner child. Is she being recognized? Is she being appreciated? Is she being loved? And if not, it has to start with you. Here in your adult body, in your adult persona, you can connect with your inner child and give her that love and nurturing and caring that she needs. Remember, the sun is in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer does rule family, home, children, you know, that kind of thing. So we want to make sure to be sensitive to and nurture, care for children or your own inner child in this case. All right, and for those of you that chose the blue kyanite people, you got white Tara, and white Tara says sensitivity. The message at the bottom says you are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. So some of you, as a result of this full moon, as a result of Mars retrograde, you know, I'm sure there's other things going on in your personal astrological chart, which you may want to connect with somebody who does astrological counseling and, you know, perhaps get some guidance. But you're experiencing becoming more sensitive emotionally, more sensitive energetically to other people's, you know, emotions or thoughts or communications or the environment, you know, places that you're going to where you're picking up on other people's energies. Maybe they're chaotic energies, maybe they're depressed. I mean, you know, a lot of us are empathic. So you might be noticing your empathic sensitivity growing. This can also mean for some of you that you're becoming more sensitive to foods or, you know, alcohol or chemicals, you know, things that are in the air and in our water and in the ground. I mean, there's a lot of things that, you know, within foods that are non-organic, that are GMO. So some of you may be needing to pay attention more to your diet and to your overall health and well-being and try to figure out what can I do or what do I need to eliminate so that I feel better and I'm not so overly sensitive to these energies. I'm also getting to, before we are done with this video, that some of you are becoming more sensitive psychically and intuitively. Again, your empathic abilities or claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, you know, those clairs. Some of you are increasing in your abilities in that way. So I hope you've liked this weekly angel card reading. Again, make sure that you're watching for the July monthly angel card reading under my YouTube channel, Colleen Lemma. Find me on Facebook under Colleen Lemma or Sacred Soul Empowerment, and now on Instagram at Colleen Lemma. Thank you so much for your love, your comments, your support, sharing my videos, subscribing to my channel. I send you all much love and light, and I send you all many, many angel blessings.